Hello, it is Tuesday the 27th of July 2021. Welcome to Hughes at 32 minutes past 10. Might have fallen asleep, might have literally fallen asleep on the couch upstairs, and it's just by fortune that Lee called, he texted me at 18 minutes past to say, isn't there supposed to be a show tonight? And the phone vibrated in my pocket, waking me up. So the only reason I'm here is Lee Corn. So thank you very much, Lee, for texting me to say, Graham, wake up, you've got a show to do. I apologise profusely to anyone who is waiting at 10 o'clock. I'm here now. Oh my God, how embarrassing. Pineapple Boy says, ooh, odd time. Yeah, indeed. Periscope saying Brexit, saying Hughes at 10:30, indeed. Good evening, everyone, says Alex Morgan. This is why you turn your notification bell on for Hughes at 10:30. Hi, Phil Spicer says, hi everyone, back from a pub garden, socially distanced pub outdoors, and instead of masks, ribs of beef, Norwich. Actually quite pissed, and unfortunately school night mistakes were made. I don't even have that excuse. The government wants us to think that all criminals are a lost cause. No one is capable of being helped into a better life and worthless. Yes. Which is somewhat ironic, because obviously Boris Johnson is completely fucking useless and incapable of being helped into a better life. He's just an absolute scumbag, and so are all the people who work for him. Evening all. What time do you call this, says Kevin, not happy. Boo says, is it weird to click the like before we start? I sometimes do that. Just between you and me, I sometimes do it. Kevin, I do the same. I was tapping on the screen. The government has stolen Graham, says Duke Vengeance. Don't always assume the worst. But yes, I'm here. Thanks to Lee Corn. So thank you, Lee, for waking me up. If I would have texted you if I had your number. We must mount a rescue, says Duke Vengeance. Don't worry, I'm here. I'm here. My God, I am actually here. So, what did I want to talk about today? I wanted to talk about the irony. Oh, the irony of Boris Johnson's crime bill, which has been condemned as weird and gimmicky. Weird and gimmicky by police chiefs. That's a quote, by the way. And it gives the police in Britain a pay rise of 0%. Yes, you heard that right. A pay rise of 0% which isn't a pay rise because of inflation, so it's actually a pay cut. Boris Johnson is actually defunding the police. He's actually doing what he wanted the BLM people were saying that they were wanted, and now he's giving it to them. It's quite some turnaround from cheering on the people who were booing the England football players for taking a knee. But you see, this is the problem with the basic misunderstanding of the defund the police movement or slogan. It's more applicable in America because the police in America are completely fucked, like beyond repair. Really, you just need to scrap the police service in America and just start again. The UK. The police service, by and large, is the people in it who individuals are all right. Institutionally, though, the police system is corrupt. And we know this because of the Daniel Morgan report. We know it's institutionally racist because of the Stephen Lawrence inquiry. We know that this thing, the police, has big problems, and it has big problems addressing those problems as well. It's in denial. It doesn't think it's done anything wrong. Cressida Dick still won't leave, which is unfortunate, but does give us the opportunity to march down the street in the coming months with placards with Dick out written on them. Privately educated Cressida Dick, head of the Met Police. She's like the Commissioner Gordon of the Met Police. So imagine Commissioner Gordon, but really fucking corrupt. Whereas Commissioner Gordon in the Batman comics was the one who wasn't corrupt in a highly corrupt police force. Whereas Cressida Dick actually helped the police cover up how far the conspiracy went with the newspapers, and this led to the murder of and subsequent cover up of Daniel Morgan. of his murder. So yes, indeed. A pay rise of 0%. Yes, indeed. Can't deny it's a great offer. It is fantastic. Everyone loves a bargain. 0% offer. Phil, you got a credit card. That's really good. Puek says, of course, they think we are all criminals. People judge others by their own behaviour. To be honest, you tend to trust, etc. Indeed. But this is the thing about defund the police. I wasn't saying getting rid of the police. I was just saying, why the fuck do we get the police to do these jobs? And the one that really just blows my mind, why the fuck is it the police's job to come round to people's homes to tell them that their son or daughter has been killed in a car crash? Why do the police do that? I find it abhorrent that the police do that. The police are there to try and stop criminals. What are they doing? Going to people's homes and breaking horrific news? No. Trained counsellors should go and do that. Trained counsellors. No question about it. I mean, who really, seriously needs this? Maybe if there's a murder and they have to ask people questions about where the person was before they died or whatever, yeah. But to break the fucking news? No. Trained counsellor, Counsellor Troy, I don't give a fuck. Someone who is trained specifically to deal with letting someone know the worst news in the fucking world. It shouldn't be the police, okay? It's the first one. And there's like speeding tickets. What the, really? What? Why are the police doing that? First of all, we've got technology now, so the police really kind of a little bit defunct about us. At least in the UK, we don't really go in for the whole let's have a car chase shit that they pull in America because they know it's good for ratings. Like I say, Britain's problems, although they are gargantuan, are nothing compared with the problems they have in America. Imagine like you look at the Sun and you go, not the newspaper, the actual Sun. Don't look at it too hard, it'll hurt your eyes. But you look at it and go, that's fucking big. You know, that's a big thing, isn't it? It's much bigger than the Earth. However, compared with a red giant like Beetlejuice or Betelgeuse, it's quite small. You know, that red giant's way bigger. So that red giant is the problem in the American police. Our Sun is the problem in the UK police. There are problems. What are they doing at football matches? What the fuck are police officers doing for 2 hours every Saturday at a football match? Eh? Why? No. Private security, if necessary, they have the power to make an arrest or detain people who are acting unlawfully, and then that's reported to the actual police. And then there's the report to the police. Why are police typing up reports? What? No. See, someone like me, right? Pretty good writer, right? Like I can write stuff. Pretty not amazing, you know. I'm not like a mad touch type or whatever, but I can write pretty quick, right? Maybe they could say, okay, here's what happened, and I could type it out for them. Instead of an incident happening, a police officer investigating it, and then spending literally 10 minutes investigating it, and then the whole fucking afternoon writing up a report. No, you got admin staff for that. Fuck that. Why are they writing all this? You got a little notebook, just write your notes down. They check it over at the end of the day and say, yeah, read it through. Yeah, that's all accurate. Great. Why is it the role of the police to... I don't want the police to do that. There are people who want police who could do that job. It's fine. But obviously they want to cut corners, don't they? Not the police, but the people funding the police, the government, the local authorities that are being squeezed anyway because of the government who keep making the amount of money that councils have to spend smaller and smaller and smaller. But yeah, the police are who are generally put in charge of policing themselves, which is great. Who watches The Watchmen? Yeah, exactly. I don't know if you had the chance to see it, but Lambert's breakdown of Priti Patel's police bill is bloody chilling. Proper 1984 stuff. Made even worse by Johnson's comments on chain gangs. Yeah, you know, I was just thinking of that because I was talking the other day, wasn't I, about getting a group of like pro-EU lot around to wear high-vis vests to keep Europe tidy up and doing some litter picking. Boris Johnson wants chain gangs at the side of the road. I mean, it's one thing being a dickhead. It's one thing being an arrogant, egotistical shitbag. But the guy's like, it's not just that he's thick. He's like, his ideas that he comes up with are fucking stupid. Like, he's one of these people who comes up with a moronic idea, and then he's like, I've got this great idea. And you're like, what is it? And he says, oh, we should all fill our trousers with blancmange. And you're like, that sounds like a really fucking dickhead idea, mate. Yeah, but I've had this idea, and because I've had it, it must be a good idea. And you're like, no, we don't need chain gangs. You know, what is this? The 1930s and the deep south of America working on a fucking chain gang. Fuck off. If you want to rehabilitate people, go in jail, and we've spoken about this before. You don't put them in a fucking chain gang. You say, listen, you want to get out early, so long as it's not for rape, so long as it's not for murder, not a capital offence. But if you want to get early, get yourself a qualification. Get yourself reading some books. Get yourself some GCSEs, some A-levels. Get yourself a university degree. That will be taken into account. And you will be eligible for parole earlier than you otherwise would be able to be eligible for parole. At the moment, it's half your sentence. You've got a 10-year sentence. After 5 years, you are eligible for parole, so long as you haven't shanked anyone in the showers in those 5 years. I don't think that's enough. I think it should be good behaviour. Plus, you've bettered yourself. You've got yourself some qualifications. That's taken into consideration. And I know it's taken into consideration as it is, but I think it needs to be formalised. It needs to be like, listen, seriously, keep your head down, get yourself an A-level, and then you get out early. And when you get out, you'll have a qualification. You won't just be leaving with no qualifications, 10-year stretch on your records. No one wants to employ you. Back into crime. Back into the life of crime. And also, I mean, you know, why are the police policing drug use? It's a medical condition. Why are the police involved in that in any way, shape or form? Stop it. No. NHS, medical staff, train people, dealing with people who are addicted to these drugs, or people who have mental health problems, and that's what makes them addicted to drugs. They need help. Not fucking locking up. Not being beaten up by the police and thrown into a fucking jail cell for the night. Jesus Christ. This isn't complicated. I'm not being a bleeding heart liberal by saying this. I'm saying, look, there's a better way. There is simply a better way of doing this. Football pay for the police to be there. It'd be dangerous to go down the private police route, says Chubbai. I know they pay. But I think it's wrong. Honestly, I think that having all those police officers not on the street, not doing their job for those 2 hours every fucking Saturday. And don't forget, it's all the big matches, isn't it? And you got 20 footy teams, so you have at least 20 Premier League teams. So you got, and you'd have 8 games on a Saturday, 2 on a Sunday, on a usual weekend, and then you've got the championship as well. That's all policed. It's too much. And I don't really have a problem going to a gig and knowing there's going to be bouncers there, grabbing you when you're crowd surfing or whatever, or throwing you out if you've, caused some trouble or tried to invade the stage. I don't mind that happening, and saying, oh, well, if we go down the private route, then they'll all be crazy. I mean, it doesn't really work like that. You look at how bouncers work in, say, Manchester, where you've got to be registered, you've got to have a number. They have to make sure that you're not fucking crazy. I'm not saying the system works perfectly, but those bouncers deal with people. They deal with lunatics. They deal with drunken head cases. And I'm not saying it's 100% perfect, but I don't want police officers outside my nightclub. I don't want police officers, checking on people coming in. I don't want my police officers lined up at the front of Glastonbury catching fucking crowd surfers. I think it's a fucking useless waste of their time. Useless waste of their time. There's better ways of doing it. Happy birthday, all short. Feliz cumpleaños. I watched your video. What is Solo new immigration system? Happy birthday, Marcus. Was that today? Graham, I checked a video from All Short. It talked about new immigration system called Sola. Sola in Spanish is an alone woman. Ooh, an alone woman. I need to remember that. Oh God, that sounded really creepy and weird, didn't it? I meant single. Does it mean single woman? No, it means, okay, scratch that from the record. I've got Lee Cotton saying, I've just seen your message, so now I'm 50 minutes late, catching up now. I sent Lee a message saying, fuck, just woken up. Thank you. So thank you very much for waking me up, Lee. Feliz Campeanos, happy birthday, all shorts. Premier League, you say, that's Norwich City, on the ball City. The bouncers also work at football matches. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, I'm not saying there shouldn't be any police presence, but when you see a match and, like, there's literally, maybe 30, 40 police officers at the match, it's just, I don't know. It just seems like, how many things do you want the police to do that they don't really need to do? Police need to have arrest powers to fight crime, to solve crimes. When we live in a society in which 99% of potential rapists go scot-fucking-free, we need to talk time management. We need to talk about what the police are doing and how they do it. And defunding the police doesn't mean taking away the police service entirely, but it means cutting it up and making sure that these services, like dealing with drugs, not drug dealing, but dealing with drugs, it's done by medical trained professionals and not by the bloody police. And when I say medical trained professionals, I don't mean bloody doctors. I mean, that would be mad as well. If we just decided, we're going to get GPs to deal with it. No, they're not necessarily qualified to deal with mental health problems, which are part and parcel of addiction. This is why we have a problem in this country where people with mental health problems aren't given the support that they need, because mental health isn't treated in the same way that we treat our physical health. If someone breaks their arm, they go to the doctor, they go to the A&E, and they say, I've broken my arm, and they get strapped up and get it x-rayed. There's a process, there's a procedure, and it works for everyone. No matter who you are, if you've broken your arm, they'll be able to x-ray it, set it back in place, put it in a sling, and off you pop. It'll heal up. Obviously, if you've really twatted your arm, you might have problems. But generally speaking, 999 times out of 1,000, that's how they deal with a broken arm. Mental health problems are different for each individual person. And they need a counsellor. They need someone who can talk to them, a psychologist or psychiatrist, depending on the situation. Someone to go through cognitive behavioural therapy, someone to prescribe them the medication that they need, rather than the prescription for something that will just get that person out of the doctor's office, which unfortunately happens too much in this country. And I'm not having a go at doctors here, but they only have 5 minutes per patient. And in those 5 minutes, it is possible to diagnose a broken arm or something, and we've all got a scare story, a horror story about someone who went to a GP with a bump or a lump or a pain, and the doctor said, it's just backache, it's just a mole, it's nothing to worry about. And it turned out to be cancer. And that's fucking awful. And I know people who've died. And that happened. And it's tragic. And it is tragic. And I can just think, well, if we can take some of the strain off the GPs, so they're not having to deal with mental health problems, they're dealing with physical health problems that they can look at and diagnose and give the correct medication for whatever it is, then great. Let's do that. And then every single GP surgery in the country has a dedicated, or a couple of dedicated MHPs, mental health practitioners, there to talk to people who are struggling. And a lot of us are, especially with fucking COVID. Jesus Christ. Although I have to say, these fuckers, these anti-mask, anti-vax twat bags who are using the mental health defense. The reason why we're against lockdown is it's bad for people's mental health. It's causing all these suicides, don't you know? Like they've ever given a shit about anyone's mental health before. These guys are fucking horrible little bullies. Nearly all of them are fucking horrible little bullies. They don't give a shit about people's mental health. They're just using that as an excuse to further their own agenda. And do you know what their agenda is? Make lots of money. Line your fucking pockets with dickheads' money, because they'll throw it at you if you say things that are outrageous enough. Whereas if you say things that are sensible, you get £2 off Pineapple Boy. Hey! Thanks very much, Pineapple Boy. Yeah, okay, go on. You can call in. Do you know why? Because I've got quite a sore throat. Pineapple Boy, do you want to get me through stereo? Let me know, and I'll get stereo set up on my phone. If you don't have my number. Bingo, Mr. Hughes. Thank you, Phil. The police at that protest to protect the protesters. Even the police forget that. Yeah, although at the anti-Brexit protest, they're all really fucking peaceful. The only other protests I've been to in my life, like the Jubilee 2000 protest in 2005 in Edinburgh, that was quite similar. Oh, I'm getting a call. My phone is buzzing, but it's not telling me how I pick it up. You stupid phone. Why do I pay you? Let's have a look. Thomas gave 5 Swiss francs. Thank you, Thomas, for my 5 Swiss francs. Okay. Sorry, that's buzzing there. Just give me a moment. Give me a moment. I'm just setting this up. Hi, I just wanted to drop I have a birthday in 7 minutes. Happy birthday, Christian. Happy birthday. Right. Let's have a go on this.
Right.
Let's pop this in here. Great, we should set up a premium phone line, says Chubby. Maybe I should. Pineapple Boy, are you there? Are you there, sir?
Yes, I am.
Hey, Hi. How's it going?
So glad you woke up.
Yes.
Missing you.
Well, thanks. I think you sent me a message as well via. Did you send me a message via the Discord server?
I don't even remember.
Oh, okay.
Could have done.
Well, yeah. I definitely got a message off Lee because he knows my number. Wake up, you dickhead! Oh, I fell asleep. I can't believe it. It was about 9:30, and I was just on the couch, and I just thought, I just rest my eyes for a moment. Kath fell asleep as well. We both woke up, and I'm like, shit, I'm supposed to be doing my show. So yeah, still had time to make a cup of tea though.
You had a good snooze, and that's why you're making a lot of sense, I guess. Or, of course, you're always making a lot of sense.
Won't go that far.
I'm with you all the way there as well. Your argument is why give a certain task to people who are more qualified, and that who would be there would be more qualified people to do that sort of work, of course. Yeah. And what I'm thinking all the time is when you're making that argument, there is the right wing who would push that into a privatization sector discussion. Right?
Why?
So,
I mean, they would, but I don't think that's a strong argument because it's police are public sector workers. And social workers are public sector workers, and nurses and doctors
they are.
You're utilising people who are public service workers. I would much rather the Tories are going to privatise anything. I'd much rather they made it so when football matches were being policed, it was bouncers effectively doing it rather than police officers, or community support police officers. So they're not fully qualified police officers, but they're there to help out, and they all vetted.
Also the infamous G4S who are staffing those quarantine hotels.
Well,
raping women and all that.
Yeah, I would much rather they were making that the private side of things than bloody prisons being run by Group 4. I mean, just no. Why? What?
And then, exactly. You just have one look at what's happening in America. With,
in America, these judges they get backhanders. Well, effectively, there's so many elections in America. They elect
there's
judges.
A profit motive for recidivism.
Yeah, for throwing people in jail, and they'll throw a 17-year-old kid in jail for being caught with a little bit of dope, and it ruins their entire life. And they're doing it to keep the numbers up in jail.
Absolutely, it does. Yeah, and they're keeping them in as well. And then they're hoping for recidivism as well to just keep the cycle going and get more money.
Did I read
privatization is...
Did I read proportionately there's more Americans in jail as a proportion of the population than there are people in jail in the rest of the world? Is it proportionally to the proportion of the rest of the world? Is that right?
It wouldn't surprise
It's
me,
off the
although
charts.
might have been old statistics because China's catching up, as
Oh
you
yeah,
know,
yeah, true. Bloody
with the
China.
Uyghurs. Yep.
With Winnie the Pooh in charge, although he hates being called Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
Winnie the Chew.
Just on privatization, what I wanted to bring up is imagine, I'm going around the track. Imagine you're going to work in the country which is way down the HDI, Human Development Index. Just let's say you have some oil company work, whatever, and you're going to this country and you're a little bit later in your life and you got some family and kids and all that, but you got this contract. And what you're going to do, and you're not a backpacker, you're a bit older with responsibility, so you're seeking out private health, of course, duh.
Yeah.
You're possibly seeking out private security, depending how stable the country is, and you're seeking out private education as well, I'm sorry to say. And so it's actually a mark of poor statesmanship, of poor statecraft, that privatization is necessary in those situations.
Yeah.
And to me, I mean, we are all sort of living in highly developed countries. I wouldn't consider private schools if I was in Germany, and it's different here, and it's a mark of the state not getting it right.
No, they've completely got it wrong. Well, you know, I go on about that all the time.
And it all starts with funding. But it's not just funding, because Boris likes to grandstand in Parliament and say things like we spend this much, we spend that much.
Yeah.
But wasting public money becomes a virtue at that point, because the only argument you have is how much you spend rather than how much you brought waiting lists down.
Yeah, yeah. Police privatization. Did anyone watch RoboCop? Says RC. Yeah, indeed. Was it OCP? I've got John Barleycorn singing "Wake Up, King" in a Catholic style, which I think is China Crisis. Gary and Eddie from Liverpool, a good Scouse band there. We've got Kevin Haggerty saying, I went to Phoenix Park today to feed the deer and came home and fell asleep for an hour. Too much fresh air or most likely getting old. I think if you need a nap, especially when it's hot, it's been quite hot over the last few days. So I think that the whole siesta culture hasn't really taken hold in the UK. But in other countries where it's hot, generally in the afternoon, people have a little nap. Roger King says, when I was on the dole in 2011, Group Thought for Security were doing the job centre security, really horrible thugs. And there's a message here from RC saying, sorry, after seeing the 80s, police need to be at big football matches. And I get what you're saying there, RC, because I do remember the matches in the 80s and what they were like. But since Hillsborough, since the seats have been all, since these matches have been all seating, and since the tickets to the fucking match have been like, what, 60 quid a match? People have tended to settle down a bit. It's nowhere near what it was back in the day. The sort of, trouble that people had. Police privatization was also mentioned in Doctor Who. We used to have private firefighters, says Chubai, which is really funny. The stories of, so if you had a house in London, you would have like a public house or whatever. You'd have a symbol above it, and the symbol was which fire crew you paid insurance to. And if you didn't have a symbol up, it burned, because by the time the fire crew got there, you'd get two rival fire crews that would turn up to try and put your fire out. And whichever one put the fire out will get your money for putting the fire out. So they'll fight with each other while the fire was going on, rather than putting out the fire. So someone said, why don't we have a fire brigade? Why don't we all just put it all together? Which made sense, which made a lot of sense. But
at the moment you have a profit motive there, you have fire starters, right?
Yes, also people starting fires so they could actually get something. But yeah, I mean, any kind of profit motive. Think about grave robbers. Like, so when I went to, I was walking around, I think it was in Edinburgh. Yeah, it would have been in Edinburgh. And we were walking through the old graveyard. Well, it's one of the churches in the city centre of Edinburgh. It's called St. Luke's. No, sorry, St. John's. St. John's Church. And I think it's the oldest church in Edinburgh. And it's got a graveyard. And it's got this beautiful rounded building on the corner of the street. And it looks over the graveyard, and it's actually was set up so they could have a watch person at night to make sure no one was robbing the graves. The only reason why people robbed the graves is because there was no way of getting bodies for medical science, and people wanted to do experiments on dead bodies. So the only way you could get hold of them, like famously Burke and Hare, the famous grave robbers, people would dig them up. So instead of doing the sensible thing and going, well, we'll make it legal to people to give their body to medical science, they were like, no, we're going to make this thing illegal, like drugs, and as a result, we're going to, make criminals a fortune, like they did in the 1920s in Prohibition in America, which didn't work, led to the deaths of thousands of people and the rise of gangsters like Al Capone. So what would you do? I mean, what's your feeling, Pineapple Boy, on drugs? Do you think drugs should be legalized and regulated, or do you think it's the way it's going at the moment is boss?
The way it's going at the moment is absolutely not boss. And if
to put it mildly,
the Dutch model has something for it. I mean, if you're in Holland, it's actually still illegal to smoke weed, but it's illegal, but it's tolerated, meaning that you're not going to get arrested even though it's illegal.
But that still leaves the money in the hands of the gangsters, doesn't it? Like, your local friendly neighborhood weed dealer isn't necessarily a good egg. It's not like Danny the drug dealer from Withnell and I. You're talking about criminal gangs. And one of the things that came out of the Stephen Lawrence inquiry, or the investigation into Stephen Lawrence's murder, is that the ringleader of the racist gang that murdered Stephen, were actually was his father was like one of London's biggest cannabis dealers. I said that weird. Cannabis dealers, and that is. It shows to me that if you're going to legalize, it's no good decriminalizing this stuff. You've got to legalize it, like what they've done in America, where now you can get your drugs from a pharmacy or a special drug outlet in a lot of states. I think that's probably the best way to go about it. Just want to say a big hi to Minty Sillery watching on Facebook. Also, Jeremy Lance on the other side of the world. Good morning, buddy from Australia. Good day, Jeremy. Would you go for full legalization? Pineapple Boy.
Very, very conflicted, and I think the conversation is almost too narrow. I'm trying to look at the big picture and wondering how can you build a functioning society with a broad middle class, and drugs is a component of that. The discussion about drugs, not taking, but the discussion about drugs is a big component. And how do you build a successful society? And if you give people prospects, right? If you fund education, apprenticeship schemes, if people have a for example UBI as well, if things are going all right in someone's life, then they don't become addicts. Yes, there can be recreational use, but the addiction is actually the root cause for addiction is that your life's shit. And you're using something to make you feel better. Yeah. And so it's too narrow a topic if you just focus on drugs rather than how do you make lives better generally, and how do you promote a big middle class.
Well, I was having a conversation with my nephew who grew up in a town in Wales, particularly down at Hill town in Wales, and we often have these conversations. We align on a lot of political things, but when it comes to general view of society, I am a collectivist. I think that any problems that can need to be solved, it's not about telling individuals to sort the shit out. It's more to do with fixing society. Whereas my nephew is an individualist, and he thinks people should take responsibility for their own actions. And we have interesting conversations, and we were talking the other day about this specifically, and I said, well, look, if you grow up in a shithole and there are no jobs and there is nothing to do and everyone around you is just sitting on the couch playing Xbox, what would give you the impetus? How would you go about getting out of that? It's very difficult. It is very, very difficult when society pushes you into a box and says, oh, I want you to stay in this box, to actually break out of it. And that's why it's so remarkable when someone does You get a rags to riches story about some person who grew up in a brutal council estate and ended up winning gold at the Olympics. But I don't think those stories are very common, unfortunately. So I think you're right. I think if we are going to legalize drugs, again, it's like UBI. It's not the only solution. It's got to be holistic. We've got to look at UBI. We've got to look at education. We've got to look at how we deal with drugs. We've got to look how we look at people who break the law, and deal with it all in a way that betters the life opportunities for everyone. Instead of just saying, right, sorry mate, you were born in the wrong place, into the wrong family, and there's nothing down for you in life.
Right. And predictions far out are obviously quite difficult, and you're going to get them wrong. And I'm probably miles off as well. But there's just automation on the horizon, and it's going to accelerate. It's probably not too controversial to say. And accelerating automation is going to lead to a world where it's either going to be a utopia where no one has to work, or a dystopia where no one gets work and they need it. And the UBI is going to be the key element to make that choice between utopia and dystopia, I would say. Yeah. At that point.
Okay, that's fair enough. I mean, like I we've got to. I think we've got to get away from this ideal that the highest thing that we can possibly imagine is a society in which we have full employment, because that's not what we should be going for. We should be going for a society that has the highest levels of opportunity and the highest levels of happiness. Jobs might be a part of that, but that's what I see UBI doing. It breaks us free of that ridiculous cycle of we need to have jobs, we need to create jobs, and doing incredibly dick-headed things in order to create jobs, and making rich people a lot richer to create jobs. And this trickle-down economics, we know it doesn't fucking work. It didn't work in the 70s, it didn't work in the 80s, and it sure as shit doesn't work now. It's just the rich just get richer. I know that sounds a bit of a line that you shout at a rally or something, but there's a lot of truth to it. It's people are becoming more and more entrenched in their positions, and you're getting now second, third generations of people who don't work, and they're stuck in a rut, and there's just no way out of it. And what does Britain as a society do to these people? Well, it makes fun of them. It drags them out to be on the Jeremy Kyle show, or it drags them out to sing really badly on X Factor, so we can point and laugh at the poor fuckers. And that doesn't sit right with me. I don't like it. I don't like the fact that Channel 4 did a show called Benefit Street. It really pissed me off. HK, £10 super chat. Thank you very much, HK. I really appreciate that. I'm sorry I'm a bit croaky, but I have just woken up. Christian Cruz, Amendment 13, Section 1. Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as punishment for a crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States. So there you go. You can have slavery so long as someone has committed a crime. And if you make the crime being black, then, you can get back to those good old slavery days, I guess.
Well, it's not being black. It's walking whilst being black, right?
Oh yes, walking, or getting a wallet out that looks like a gun. So did you watch any of the committee hearings today in America about the January the 6th insurrection? Did you see any of that?
No, I skipped that. I had to work, but I do follow American politics from time to time.
It was really harrowing. I mean, there was police officers there, Capitol police officers. They were showing footage of what they had to put up with on the day, and a lot of them were just breaking down in tears, talking about it, and just like how horrific it was, and how they were scared for their colleagues, and how they were treated by these good people. As far as Trump's concerned, who another Republican said they were just like tourists. And one of the police officers actually said, you know what, if that's tourists giving people a hug, then I'd like to go around to Trump's house and give him a hug. And he had to actually retract what he said. He said, okay, I went a bit far there. Because obviously he was saying, why don't we go around to Trump's house and beat the living shit out of him? Because that's what happened to a lot of the Capitol Police officers. Thomas Mulcahy says, put a rat in a small box with either sugar water or cocaine water. They will most likely drink the cocaine water. Put a rat in a nice environment and it will mostly drink the sugar water. It's very true.
Exactly. It absolutely extends to humans as well. No surprise.
The skeptic says...
I forgot what I wanted to say.
What?
All right.
Go on.
No, I forgot what I wanted to waffle on about inequality because we talk about it far too rarely. I mean, just the obscene scale of inequality. But
well, on Draconic...
just the fact that...
Sorry, I'm just going to read some comments. Draconic says UBI is the only way a capitalist-based system can continue to operate reasonably when there is mass unemployment due to automation. Without that, the haves and have-nots will be the new apartheid, in my humble opinion. Yes, Draconic, I'm 100% on that with you because UBI is the only way forward. It's like we can have the purge or UBI. There's literally no other route for the future. But well,
that's what I'm saying. Have you watched the movie? Can I just ask? Have you watched the movie Elysium with the little space station and Matt Damon?
Matt
Have you watched it?
Shit, no.
Elysium.
No, I haven't actually.
Haven't? Oh
no.
my gosh.
I should do, shouldn't I?
It's showing that dystopia.
My partner has an irrational hatred of Matt Damon. I don't know why.
Oh no!
Because like when I'm trying to get her to watch movies, she go, "Oh, it's got Matt Damon in." For some reason, Matt Damon really annoys her in a way that doesn't annoy me. I think he's all right, But yeah. So I end up not watching Matt Damon. I got her to watch The Martian, and she did enjoy The Martian because that's a great movie. But yeah, Minty Sillery's asking me when's my next book coming out. Oh, Elizabeth. Oh God. Shit. I'm working on it. Believe me. There's not enough hours in the day, but I will get the book out as soon as humanly possible. Hopefully by the end of the year, at the very latest. Yeah, and I've got some new people coming on. I've got Cavan Lad 100 saying hello all, and HK says thank you Graham for your island of sanity. This is what we're going to call Ginger Island when me and Marcus are there in September, which I realise is 6 weeks away. 6 weeks before we go to Ginger Island. Yeah, I know. Christian Cruz, Americans, we need guns to protect us against the government. Rest of the world, do you know how a tank works? Also, a nuclear bomb. Also, Christian, nuclear bombs. Yeah. Kevin Hegarty says David Icke should be arrested for saying COVID didn't exist and no one died from it. Surely that's people putting people's lives at risk. I completely agree with that. I mean, other people might think that's draconian, but to me, that is the equivalent of shouting fire in a crowded theatre. It's mischief, the sole purpose of which is to make money for the person who's saying it, obviously, because that's why he does it. But because he's made $1 million, he's made millions out of his bullshit that he comes out with, David Icke. But I think he's got to be held criminally responsible for spreading this shit on the internet. Also, Christian says purge. And also Veg Party says we want book. £4. We want book. All right, I'm working on it. Give me a second. Here.
Well, if you want a proofreader, I'm more than happy to.
Okay, cool. I've got to tell you, Catherine was absolutely devastated that she missed the typo. She wasn't too bothered about the capital of Liechtenstein being wrong because she didn't know what the capital of Liechtenstein was, so she didn't notice that it was spelled wrong. But yeah, the fact that there was a typo in there that she missed, she was devastated. She was like, "I never miss. I don't." Duke Vengeance says, "Go on."
I say it's my favorite country, but it's only because I had a good holiday there. But it's nice up there.
I went camping. Once in Liechtenstein. And we arrived at the campsite. It was way after dark. It must have been about 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock at night. And I was absolutely hammered because my mate Stan had been driving and I'd just been drinking. And I had to put up a tent in the rain I don't know if it was raining, but it was dark, definitely. Couldn't see what I was doing, and I was absolutely smashed on my head. I woke up in the morning, and all the temp poles with you know the kind of color coded, so you know which poles go in. Yeah, got the wrong ones in that. It was horrific. It's amazing that the tent stayed up, to be honest with you. But yeah, good times in Liechtenstein. Draconic says all such idiots like David Icke would insist quicksand is no threat, but would never walk over some to prove their point. Yeah, absolutely. Spanish singer Miguel Bose, maybe Bose, said that COVID doesn't exist and is anti-face mask. David Icke is the son of God and has come to save us. He saved bugger all in goal for Coventry City, says Phil. Laura says Einstein said the universe and human stupidity are infinite. Looks like human stupidity is bigger. Yeah, pretty much. By the way, you already know your replacement. Type into Google OpenAI GPT-3. Bayerberg, that's going to be my replacement then. You know, great. I get to just fall asleep at 9:30. I don't have to do anything. So yeah, I didn't want to steer the island. I didn't want to steer the conversation back towards the island because obviously I'm going to be talking about it a lot over the next few days, over the next few weeks. But yeah, I did speak to Marcus today. We had a good chat about plans for the island, and I've been looking into internet, how I'm going to get internet on the bloody island, because I can get local internet, but it's going to be something like either I can pay a shitload of money for 20 megabits upload speed, or I can pay a lot less for 6 to 7. But I think 6 to 7 megabits upload is going to be cutting a bit fine if we're going to be doing lots of live streaming. The alternative is a satellite link. So if anyone's got any information, because I was trying to read today about different companies that were offering satellite internet, and it all looked a bit like it wasn't finished yet. Like the satellites weren't all up in the air yet. So if someone's got some information about that, please let me know in the comments, and maybe we can chat about it on the Discord service later. Right, back to what we were talking about, defunding the police. I've got Jeremy Goff saying, "Oh mate, I have a long lost pal in a Chinese girlfriend who spoke perfect English, but he got her to say stuff in bed with a Chinese accent." Okay, that's a bit weird. John Barleycorn, David Icke, break out the turquoise shell suits. Indeed. David Icke, son of God, which one lies? Lee Corn says, "I'm a bit behind, yes, but I was thinking the same about Elysium, but also Out of Time." Have you seen Out of Time, Pineapple Boy?
I think I'm out of time, and I had a really good crack of the whip. So thanks for that.
Okay, all right. I will continue on.
I'll let you get up.
Yeah, no worries, mate. And I'll speak to you very soon. Come join us on the Discord server afterwards. All right, take care, mate. Bye. Right. So yeah, that's Pineapple Boys off. No, Out of Time is Justin Timberlake, I think, and Olivia Wilde playing his mum. Wow. And yeah, it's a sci-fi movie in which people have time. And the richer you are, the more time you've got. And when you run out of time, you die. But society, everyone stays young in the society. Get the second jab. It has 5G connectivity, which could help with internet connectivity on the island. Bayerbeck says, generated pre-trained Transformer 3, deep learning that will replace all of us. I thought creators would say, no, UBI must be on the ballot as soon as there'll be no work for us soon. Satellite internet. Maybe you could ask Dominic Cummings about satellite GPS, get the answers that you need. Well, wasn't one of the last things that Cummings did before he left government was he bought up a satellite internet company that was going bankrupt. Is that the one where they've got clocks in their arms? Yeah, John, that's the one. It's called Out of Time. I think that's the one. I think it's called Out of Time. Starlink uses a lot of power, apparently. Not suitable if you're using... and then the solar power. Thank you, Lee. There was a bit of a delay there on the line. Probably not. No. Satellite internet is not new. Ships using it all the time. Look into naval equipment, says Lars. Yes, I know that's true, but it is going to be quite hefty on the uploads. And from the ships that I was on, and to be honest, yeah, to be fair, it was 10 years ago when we did have internet. It was very limited how much we could we could use. That was downloads, not even uploads. Satellite internet, Starlink. I looked up Starlink, but yeah. Richard Foster says, hello, forgot you were on. Yeah, so did I, Richard. I was asleep. But yeah, so I'm going to go through the papers because I'm only doing an hour show. Obviously, I've started late. So just a quick roundup of tomorrow's papers, if you would like to know what they're going to be in the newspapers tomorrow. And just to let you know, tomorrow I am going to Glasgow. I'm going to Glasgow in the afternoon, and I will therefore be doing a show. I don't want to risk it and say I'll be doing it at 10 o'clock from Glasgow because I don't know what the situation is going to be when I get there, how big the room is that I'm going to be staying in, whether I can put my green screen and do a show. So I'm going to say I'm going to do the show tomorrow at 1 o'clock. So look, I'm really sorry that things are moving around like this, and if it could, I would make sure that the show was at the same time every bloody day, and it would be nice and easy for you. But things are as they are. So I'm going to do a show at 1 o'clock tomorrow. So if you'd like to follow me on YouTube by subscribing and then hitting the bell notification icon, you'll get a buzz on your phone. You also get a buzz. You'll get a notification on your phone when I go live. And I promise I won't set things up hours before I come live, because if I do that, I come on live. Jesus Christ. If I do that, what happens is you get a message when I set up the live show, then you get a message half an hour before I start, and then you get a message when I actually start. It's kind of annoying. So you won't get that. But yes, 1 o'clock tomorrow. And then I hope to be doing a show on Thursday at 10 o'clock. I won't be able to do one during the day, but hopefully being able to do one at 10 o'clock on Thursday, which may be a Hughes of the World about Cambodia, which is the next country on my list. But I'm going to have to see how things go on Thursday, because I'm actually got something on Thursday that I'm involved with, and I don't know how long it's going to take, and how much time on my day is going to take. And I don't know that much about Cambodia that I can just wing it for an hour. I do have to do a little bit of research before I come on and talk. Okay, so here's the tomorrow's papers today. I'll just bring this up onto the screen over here. So, first of all, we've got this horrific story about children in care. If you go on the BBC website, this is the first news on their site. Betrayed 1,800 children victims of cruelty and sex assault. A culture of cover-ups allowed children to be preyed on by perverts. An inquiry into one of Britain's worst care home scandals found. Attackers were protected by sick cover-up culture. And this is something that we need to deal with. This is something, right, that isn't something in the past that we don't need to worry about anymore. This goes to the very heart of one of the big problems in British society at the moment, whistleblowing, right? If you blow the whistle, you can lose your job and get no recompense for doing that. And when I say lose your job, you'll never work in that industry again, because you'll be blacklisted for blowing the whistle. So whether you're working for a big pharmaceutical company or a big electronic company or an internet company that's breaking the rules, or an accountant's company or consultant company that is diddling the taxes or whatever, it's in your interest not to say anything. And that goes all the way to the abuse at children's homes. It's in people's interests not to say anything, because if they put their head above the parapet, they lose their jobs. If they lose their jobs in our society, because we don't have anything like UBI, you have to rely on the dole or universal credit, whatever the fuck they're calling it these days, and that's not enough. That is not enough to look after your children, especially if you've got more than 2 children, because this cunt government has put a rule in saying, hey, if you've had more than 2 children and you fall on hard times, we're not going to give you extra money for those extra children that you have. You shouldn't have had them, you twat. Nice. In America, when you blow the whistle on a big company, say a good example would be a water company that's polluting a river. If you blow the whistle and there's a class action lawsuit against that company, you will get a proportion of whatever that fine or whatever that compensation is paid out to the victims of whatever criminal act has taken place. you will get a chunk of that. So there is something there to say, yes, blow the whistle. Blow the fucking whistle. Because if it goes to court and they're proved to have broken the law and they are fined, or a proportion of that money will go to you. So you could be quid in. Okay, you might still never work in that industry again. You might not have to. But in the UK, we don't even have that. Now, what I want to see, and it was said by someone in the comments, so do read the comments, do take it on board what you say, it should be made fucking law that you have to blow the whistle, and if you don't, you get taken to court for not blowing it. Did you know this was going on? Yeah. Did you blow the whistle? No. Okay, 5 years in jail, go fuck yourself, bang. That's what we need to do. So we need to have an incentive, like in America, so that if people say something, they will be compensated for saying something. But also, along with the carrot, we need the fucking stick to say, listen, dickheads, if someone is raping fucking children, it's not just your moral duty to say something, it's your legal duty to say something. Don't give me this shit about people. They didn't know. What, the people that were working for the fucking BBC didn't know about Jimmy Savile? Fuck off. Of course they fucking did. Everyone had the suspicions about him, but no one wanted to blow the fucking whistle. Again, going back to this tyrannical power relationship that these big corporations have over people. Whether they are a big pharmaceutical company or the BBC or the Metropolitan Police for that matter. I know it's not a corporation, but you get my meaning. These big organizations. You get in, you think, fuck, I'm here, I've made it. I'm part of the gang. And then you find out there's corruption going on. Or worse. Do you say anything? Well, if you do, you lose your job, you lose your friends, you lose everything. Why would you say something? This needs to be addressed. We need to do something about it urgently. Because don't believe for a second that all child abuse just something that took place in the past, because it's still going on to this day. And we need brave men and women who are prepared to stand up and say, this is going on. Point it out to people. I keep saying on this show, people don't know stuff unless you point it out to them. You have a problem with cognitive dissonance, and the Dunning-Kruger effect, where we tend to think that people know the same stuff that we know. We go, well, it's obvious, isn't it, that the earth goes around the sun? Not to everyone. Not to everyone it's not. Unless you teach them that the earth does in fact go around the sun. Here's the evidence, whatever, teach them about the transit of Venus, if you like. Until they're taught that they can go their whole lives not knowing that shit. So, yeah, again, point things out. And this goes from whistleblowing to telling a fucking restaurant that the meal's crap. And I've said this before as well. If you go to a restaurant, it's a nice restaurant, and your partner or your friends, they have a good meal, but your meal is shit, tell the fucking restaurant. Tell them. I know you got this British thing, and you're kind of like, don't want to make a fuss. No, fucking tell them, because if you don't, the restaurant will close down. The restaurant, eventually, people will just stop going there, and the restaurant will close down. You're doing them a favor by telling them. Don't be a dick about it. Obviously, I demand to see the head chef. Blah, blah, blah. Don't be a dick about it. All right, just tell them this isn't what I expected. And they might not thank you for it, but honestly, it's the best thing you can do. Unless you go somewhere so shit, like the old Greek place that used to be on Lark Lane in Liverpool, where we asked for olive oil and vinegar and bread, because that's what you get in Greece when you sit down at a Greek fucking restaurant. And they brought us literally malt vinegar, the type that you put on your chips, right? Malt vinegar in a vinegar thing that you get in a cafe, with a salt shaker and oil. And the oil was, how did they do it? I think they just got like a cup. They just got a cup and poured some olive oil into the cup and just put it on the table. And the bread was like white sliced loaf. And I'm just like, anyway, we didn't say anything. We spoke to each other. We said, let's not say anything. Let's just fucking leave. And we did. And the place closed down 6 months later. Anyway, so back onto the I'm sure you've probably got some things to say in the comments there about what I was just talking about. I mean, it's pretty heavy stuff. Draconic says, totally agree, Graham. Sava got away because there was nothing but moral obligation to do something and should only take action with watertight evidence. The fear and onus is on the whistleblower. Yeah. Daniel Hale, he blew the whistle on drone strikes. US Air Force funded him 45 months of free lunches and dinner today. Sounds way better than putting him in jail. I watched the Elysium. Yeah, I'll watch Elysium. It's on my list. It's on my list of things to watch, along with Black Widow and Elysium. Although Black Panther is black, but Black Widow isn't. It's very confusing. RC says the military are supposed to be trained in not acting on illegal orders. Don't always stick to that. Yeah, that's true. Priti Patel's bill is going to make whistleblowing a crime. Yeah. Kavan Lad 100. I think Mila Kunis is in the film. Oh, okay. Well, might check it out then. For reasons. I'm going to head back to the papers now. So from quite a serious one there, we're going to go over to The Star, which never takes anything particularly seriously, which has got a picture of Piers Morgan, although he doesn't half look like, he looks a bit like Jim Davidson in that photo. Elite egg and spoon athlete Piers Morgan slags off the Olympians, and the gold medal for the biggest numpty goes to ... TV gobster. I quite like that. TV gobster Piers Morgan has been labelled a top class loser after he said silver and bronze medals were rubbish. Oh my God. Okay. The Daily Express. Now he's Professor Upbeat. Scientist who shaped first lockdown plan predicts we will put bulk of pandemic behind us in October. So it's not still a major threat to our way of life. Notice he uses the term way of life rather than, I don't know, life. Just life, threat to life. Don't forget, although the rates are going down, the number of people dying every day is still more per day in this country than the entirety of the last 18 months who have died of COVID in New Zealand. 18 months, one day. One day, 18 months. Yeah. Okay, so this is kind of good news, I guess, if you want to go on holiday. Being reported in the Times, which is helpfully at the top. It says, got curves, flaunt them. And they've got a lady with large breasts on the... I'm glad they're there to tell us these important fucking things. Jesus Christ. Also, there's a thing about Boris Johnson's daughter. One of them. One of many. 3 points in a ban will help drivers remember to belt up. Drivers face having penalty points added to their license for failing to wear a seatbelt. Over a growing concern over a number of people go without. I didn't know that was a thing that you couldn't get points on your license for. I thought it was something that you did actually get points on your license for. Anyway, so the story here is that border is set to open for EU and US travellers, and there'll be no quarantine for the vaccinated from next week. England is poised to open its borders as soon as next week, allowing fully vaccinated travellers from the EU and US to enter without quarantining. Times as heard. We'll see it. That's a good idea pretty soon, I guess. I mean, we can't get more of the bloody Delta variant, but we might get another variant, which is the big thing that people are scared about. And Biles may quit games to protect her mental health. This is about Simone Biles, the USA gymnast. She quit today after shaking with anxiety during the Olympics, putting her mental health first, which is a good thing to do, obviously. Daily Heil here. 40 top brass blast Boris over betrayal of Afghan translators who saved our boys. So yet another Boris betrayal, which is something that we see quite a lot. Can we start a hashtag, please? Hashtag Boris Betrayal. And this is getting reported in the fucking Boris Johnson Arse Liquor Club. That is the Daily Isle. So interesting that they do seem to be turning on their fucking Führer at the moment, which is good. The bumbling piece of shit. After cases for 7 days in a row, Minister, COVID is all over, bar the shouting. This is from a senior minister who hasn't been named, I don't think. As the senior minister told the Mail that the vaccine program, coupled with more than 5.7 million infections, means the virus was struggling to find new hosts. So we gave it to everyone, so it's struggling to find people it can now infect. Although it can infect people who have been vaccinated. Stops you dying from it, doesn't stop you getting it. Something that anti-vaxxers don't get their head around. A bit complex for them. But yes, an unnamed Tory gobshite minister, COVID is all over, bar the shouting. Which seems like a really fucking stupid thing to say, considering last summer, Julia Hartless-Brewer, the fucking thick as pig shit, fucking pig-faced cunt woman who's fallen out of the ugly tree and hit every fucking branch on the way down. She has came out with the fact that, only 4 people died of COVID yesterday. So when do we declare pandemic over? Yeah, that was last summer. Since then, 100,000 fucking people have died. But, whatever, Julia, you fucking twat. Anyway, hate the woman. Moving swiftly on. Guardian is up next, and it is saying quarantine rule to be waived for arrivals fully jabbed from US or EU. We've covered that. Every little 1k bonus helps Tesco law drivers. Tesco is offering £1,000 signing on fee for lorry drivers who join the company before the end of September as it scrambles to overcome a desperate shortage of workers. That has led to gaps on supermarket shelves. And don't give us this shit about it being anything to do with COVID and the pandemic. It's all about Brexit, obviously. Biles, Simone Biles here, one of the big stars of Olympics, spoke out powerfully on her sports mental health challenges after pulling out of the team gymnastics final. Lots of pressure put on these young people at the Olympics. It should be fun. But when it's not fun, I guess it's like gambling, isn't it? When the fun stops, stop. Philip Johnson, how many government crime crackdowns do we have for us to feel safer? Well, I think the crime crackdowns are a load of bollocks. I think they're just kind of hot air for politicians to say they are tough. They are tough on crime. They are tough on crime. And what we really need is people who are tough on the causes of crime. I know that's a famous line, Tony Blair's. I'm not a massive Blairite, to think he did some good things, but also he did the Iraq War, so he can fuck off and die and burn in hell for all I care. But he got a few things right, and one of them was being tough on the causes of crime. One of the biggest causes of crime in this country is poverty. Alleviate poverty, and you reduce crime. You make the streets safer for everybody. Also, if you encourage whistleblowing, that also reduces crime as well, because people who would commit a crime often don't do it because of fear of getting caught. People who generally commit crimes are pretty confident they're not going to get caught doing it, which is why drug dealing is one of the most profitable and most safest way to make money criminally in the world, because you're dealing with a small amount of quantity of the substance that you're selling. You sell it in the back street, alleyway, whatever. It's a quick business transaction. You're not robbing a fucking bank. You don't have to work out how to heist a casino like Ocean's fucking 11. You don't have to dangle from a fucking ceiling on a rope and avoid the lasers so you can pick out the diamonds from the exhibition. You don't need to do all that shit. All you need to do is just, here you go. Here's the thing that you want. I want money for. Thanks for the money. See you later. Which is why drug dealing is something that kids get into, because you don't get many sort of juvenile bank robbers, do you? Juvenile drug dealers, though, fucking 10 a penny, certain places. Freedom for double jabbed as UK reopens to the world, screams the Daily Tory Graph. Scumbag newspaper, if ever the fucking was one. This is a tabloid piece of shit that masquerades as a broadsheet newspaper. So it's for people who vote Tory but think they're intelligent. They're not intelligent. They fucking vote Tory, dickheads. Anyway, police buy up boats to stop illegal crossings. Police have bought up small boats in an effort to curb channel migrants crossings, the Daily Telegraph understands. It's part of a series of operations to disrupt the supply of boats, which is the biggest expense for the people smuggling gangs behind the record numbers that have crossed the channel this year. Gotta say, though, I mean, seriously, if the boats are the biggest expense, if they're getting 10 grand from each of the refugees that's coming over, and what's a speedboat, what's a panga, fit, shitload of people on a little boat, now board motor, probably about 10 grand. So we get off one person. I don't think it's a big headache for them. I don't know. I wouldn't think it would be a big headache for them anyway. What else have we got here? We've got military chiefs in plea to save Afghans who aided forces, which is something that the Mail picked up on. Again, with Simone Biles in the Independent, I pulled out of Olympic final to protect my mental health, says Simone Biles, the US gymnast who won 4 golds in Rio 2016, withdrew from the team final in Tokyo yesterday. Also, police backlash over Johnson's new crime plan, something that we've covered a little bit in the show today. We've got Olympic hero beat COVID twice. This is about Britain's Tom Dean, who apparently couldn't get up the stairs. His COVID was so bad recently. There's a picture of him there, looking like Bane from Batman, which was not the best way to play that character. It's like we'll get who should we get to play Bane? Well, we'll get Mad Max bloke. He's quite jacked, isn't he? So we'll get him. And how should he sound? I think he should sound like Jimmy Stewart talking through a goatsy mask. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. And I wanted to know what would break first, your will or your back. Oh. Hello, Harvey. Hello, Harvey. Anyway, So anyway, he fought back from coronavirus and he won gold. He won gold, which is amazing. And then Financial Times also has a story about Simone Biles pulling out. Also, vaccine access fault line will split global recovery in two. This is a report from the IMF, or a warning from the IMF. Growth forecast for UK lifted to 7% this year. Scarce supplies hit emerging nations. So this is about developing nations struggling to get vaccines. Developing economies' limited access to COVID vaccines risks hindering the global economic recovery from the pandemic, the IMF warned yesterday, as it upgraded growth projections for advanced economies, including the UK, but lowered them for other parts of the world. This is something that we do have to worry about because we live in a world together and there's no planet B. So there you go. So that's a little bit of a roundup of the papers there. I hope you enjoyed that to some extent. If you didn't, well, tough shit. And I am going to... David Faulkner. Still following you, Graham. Even these early morning ones for me. Hong Kong. Thanks, David, in Hong Kong. 38 Hong Kongian dollars. I really appreciate that. Christian Cruz says Lord of War is one of Nicolas Cage movies. It's actually a decent movie. He is usually such a bad actor. Well, no, he's not. That's the thing. Nicolas Cage in Leaving Las Vegas is fucking amazing. He's absolutely brilliant in that movie. I mean, I can't think of a better portrayal of a dying alcoholic on a suicide mission. I mean, it is up there. It's a fantastic performance. And Lord of War is absolutely... It's a brilliant, brilliant movie. And Jared, what's his name thingy, is in it as well. And... starts off with, what's it called? It's look around. What's the name of that bloody song? Oh, that's going to annoy me now. Everybody knows what's going down. Oh, damn. Someone help me out. Who sang that bloody song? going to annoy me. Lord of War, whatever next. Yeah. Duke Vengeance, don't worry. The F goes up in flames. You can just use the emergency exit over there. Yeah. I just watched a video of a British pub owner who voted for Brexit and now regrets he cannot hire staff. What a stupid twat. Serves him right. Hope his pub goes tits up. Just like my career as a travel person who went around Europe doing shows and promos and things for companies about travel, which I can't do anymore because of fucking Brexit. So when a Brexiteers company goes tits up, I'm just going to point and laugh at the stupid cunts because they fucked my life. So, you know, it's only fair that they fuck their own as well. Buffalo Springfield, for what it's worth, thank you. Thank you very much, Yoni. You've saved my life. For what a great song. And at the beginning of the movie, they show the process of a bullet being made and then being transported over to Africa and then being loaded into a gun and shot into a child's head. And that sets the tone for the rest of the movie. It is dark. It's a dark comedy, actually. It's a dark film and very on point in terms of the international arms industry, which just makes wars because wars make money. So they don't care how many people in developing nations die because they're getting money, and that's more important than people not dying brutal, horrific deaths. I think some fake videos would be a good idea of the Prime Minister in a high-vis jacket. Someone get Drew on the phone. A story appeared many years ago in the Evening Standard, which claimed so many people in the Tory party were cocaine conservatives. Johnson was mayor at the time, just saying, cocaine conservatives. I think that's a good expression that we need to use more. There is a pulp song, I think it was a B-side, called Cocaine Socialism, which, I think it was a reworking of another pulp song, actually, or it got reworked. Cocaine conservatives. Chubbai says, buying up boats that sound like the British and India attempt to reduce the number of cobras, a bounty on each stake, so the Indians bred them. When the bounty was scrapped, the stakes were let go. Yuli Kadluga says, what do you guys think of Boris's idea of humiliating minor offenders in fluorescent gear chain gangs? Does anyone remember Jews being forced to scrub the street with toothbrushes? I don't actually remember that, but I'm sure I've heard about it. But yeah, pretty grim. Pretty fucking grim, I think. Kevin says, it's the same in any capital city, just depends on what part you live in. No different here in Ireland. Lee Corn Jimmy Stewart. That was Kenneth Williams. No, it wasn't. Jimmy Stewart talking through a goatsy mask. Wars make money, but better at the periphery because the capital is at risk if the capital at risk is too high if the war hits developed countries. Indeed, there is a Danish TV program to travel the world on a budget where you can win £50,000. Pretty good. I could do that. I could do that. Can I apply to be on that? Oh no, I can't because I need to get a fucking work permit to work in Denmark. And as a result of that, they're probably going to pick someone, I don't know, who doesn't need a fucking work permit. Wouldn't you? Eve of Destruction by Barry Maguire. Another great song. Which seemed very apt in the Vietnam era. Eve of Destruction. And yes, Kevin, as a man from Manchester, I think he's gay. I cannot understand how some gays voted for Brexit, knowing ideology of Brexit can contemplate homophobia. Well, yeah, and the clanging foghorn of fucking ignorance that cunt Nigel Farage. He was recorded making a really sick joke about Stuart Lubbock, the kid who died, or the guy who died at Michael Barrymore's house back in, I think it was 1999. He made a sick joke about it, and to the laugh. He's gay and he's dead. Twats. And that fucker saying that I'm the elite. Mate, I'd love to meet him in a dark alleyway with some I don't know, billiard balls in a sock, and I'd say, Nigel, what do you think of these billiard balls in this here sock? And I'd say, oh, that's a nice set of billiard balls you've got in that sock there, Graham. And I'll say, yes it is, and then I'll go my separate ways. Okay, Vietnam by T-Bone Walker. 19 by Paul Hardcastle. It's a great song. Who wants to paint a big rainbow and European flag around the Westminster building? That'd be good. The Slipknot drummer has died. Shit. Oh, bloody hell. How did he die? There was one of the actors from Home and Away died yesterday, didn't he? Former Slipknot drummer Joey Jordison has died at the age of 46. Yeah, he's died. And I assume this is going to be the same way as the Home and Away actor who died. He died peacefully in his sleep. Oh, shit. That's pretty sad. Okay, I think Barry Moore was about 97. HK says, wow. I don't know what you're referring to there. Can barely find the inspiration to paint my own place, lol. Says Kevin Haggerty. Yeah, painting Westminster might be a bit of a thing to do. Lee Corn, it's a gay bar in Manchester. Which one are you talking about? When I was in Manchester, so I was in Manchester I was in Manchester from 97 to 2000, 2001-ish, and I think Queer as Folk came out around the same time. I'll have to look that up, but it was quite fun watching, because it was all filmed around Canal Street in Manchester, and that was like where a lot of us used to hang out. And the mention of McTuckies was always welcome. But yeah, the main guy in Queer as Folk ended up being in Game of Thrones playing Littlefinger. And he was also in The Wire, wasn't he, as the politician who started off with all great intentions. The road to hell is paved with good intentions, and then ends up being just as sleazy and as corrupt as his predecessors. Outside Views, man, has new merch out. Last series of the UK. Lol. I need to work on my merch. I've only got my Wangland stuff. I need to get onto Spring and this. Oh dear, Widdicombe's trending again. She's been on Farage's show. Okay, right. I'm going to head over to Discord server for a bit. So if you would like to join me, usual rules apply. Just click on the link that I'm about to create for you, and you can stop and have a little bit of a chat about all things news, topical, politics, Boris Johnson being a cunt. Or if you want to talk about Ginger Island, or if you just want to talk about pop culture, or video games, or Baybag soon Slipknot will run out of members. It's the third one. Remember, kids, do not partake in whatever entertainment industry throws at you. Well, yeah, it does seem to be a bit of an issue with people and in rock music, and also professional wrestlers don't seem to last too long, except for the Rock. He's never going to die. Okay, so I just get this little invite up here. I can do this. Expire after 6 hours. Generate a new link. Copy that. Final season of the UK. It is the final season of the UK. Because Scotland's going to get independence. So I'm going to fucking move there. Yes! Nigel Garbage. Ugh. Sod Widdicombe, old cow. She is just a rotten, horrible human being. She's like a horrible nun, that abuses the other nuns and possibly the children under her care. She's just horrible. She's just horrible. I hope you're not just jinxed The Rock. I'll try not to. I really like The Rock. I've got a lot of time for The Rock, so I mean, hopefully it'll be all right. Boris Johnson wearing a Lolita dress. Harvey French. What? What, David? What? Widdicombe equals windy cunt. Yeah, I guess so, yeah. And down at the bottom of Earth in Minecraft at the moment. Well, get Minecrafting on Ginger Island. I was chatting with Marcus today about Ginger Island. I mentioned this. We're going to have things that you can buy if you want to be part of the Ginger Island tribe while we're doing the show, and you get your name put on things on the island, like little oars. And also, we've spoken about making a totem pole. Yes, we're going to make a totem pole on Ginger Island. And if you want your face carved into it by Marcus, who is a professional carpenter, you can drop I think you'll have to drop a shitload of money for that, because it's going to take him all day to do a face. But yes, it will be an option. It'll be an option. What we're thinking of doing is making our island in Panama a Pan-American island. So we did that, because Panama's kind of like in the middle, isn't it? The middle of North America, South America. It's just in the middle. It's a little umbilical cord connecting the two. And so bringing stuff and let's do a little bit of cultural appropriation. So a bit of the Inca stuff from South America. We'll have a bit of Mayan stuff. Central America, a little bit of Aztec stuff from Mexico. We'll have some Native American stuff from America. You'll have from the United States. We'll have some First Nation stuff from Canada. Why not? Why not? Why not just throw it all in there into the mix and go, yeah, we've got a totem pole. What about it? What about Joe Effigy? Ginger Island citizenship, passports, etc. Well, Lee, I think that's something that we will do next year. So if this expedition to Ginger Island is successful and we raise money, I mean, we're not thinking we're going to fucking raise Brewsters here, but if we get enough people interested that we can go back in 2022, then we can actually offer stuff where we send it to you. At the moment, I suppose we will have merchandise, but that will be available through Teespring, as it was formerly known, but it won't be stuff that we can send out because we can't send stuff out from Bocus, and we don't have people working for us in the UK who will box things up and send them out, so we won't be doing it that way. We'll be doing it other ways, but we will be holding daily competitions for you to get involved and appear on the show, and also have your say and decide which way you want us to go with the island. We'll be having votes and competitions every day, like I say, and we're going to be trying to do this as interactively as possible. Do you think this is a good idea? Should we go and do this? And it should be a laugh. It should be really good. Ginger Island's EU member? Oh, absolutely. I hope the passport is burgundy. Well, yes, actually. One of these passports isn't actually a passport. One of these passports is actually, if I can find it, this is my Carne de Marino. This is my boat driving license. This is my Panamanian boat driving license, and yes, you'll see it's the same burgundy colour as the British passport, which is quite cool. I'll put that on top. Okay, so yes, sacrifice Graham to Poseidon. No, don't sacrifice me to Poseidon. Please get away. The sea must be appeased. Get on with you. We should all wear fluorescent jumpsuits in a protest against authoritarianism. That'd be good. Okay, so thanks for joining me. I'll be back tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Okay, so it's not going to be Hughes at 10. It's going to be Hughes at 1. Hughes round. At 1 o'clock tomorrow, I'll do another show. Until then, you can catch me over on the Discord server for a little bit. Although it is getting rather late, so I don't know how long I'm going to stay around there. If you want to follow me on Patreon or pay for my channel and the shit that I do, then please head over to patreon.com/ThatGingerScouser. Otherwise, I will see you later or tomorrow. And until then, hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.